From KSAT 12, the Nightbeat starts right now.
Good evening. It's a great Sunday for Spurs fans. News coming out just a couple hours ago. Free agent point guard Chris Paul intends to sign with the Spurs after clearing waivers. About 2 hours after the Golden State Warriors released him, the Spurs scooped him up. So who else would we go to with this breaking news other than Larry Ramirez?
I'll tell you what, Courtney, I certainly didn't see this one coming.
Right.
Chris Paul is 39 years old, and he's accomplished a lot in his NBA career. But the one thing he's missing, an NBA championship. But that's a huge reason why he continues to play the game he loves so much. Paul will spend his 20th NBA season with the Spurs, joining forces with Coach Pop and 20-year-old Victor Wembanyama. There was also some talk that CP3 would join the Lakers to play alongside his buddy LeBron James, but the allure of playing with the alien was just too much to make that happen. That's the power of Wemby already, and he's only played one NBA season. Now, Paul is past his prime, but he will be able to get the ball to Wemby and mentor the younger guards on that Spurs roster at the exact same time. And Court will have more on CP3 joining the Spurs tonight on Instant Replay.
Lots more to talk about. Can't wait to see what they do with him.
Right.
All right. Thanks, Larry. Okay, well, today was the last day of Pride Month, and the conversation has now shifted from celebration to safety. LGBTQ plus members want the rest of the community to know about the discrimination they face every day. The Nightbeat Zaria Oates explains our LGBTQ plus community participated in a workshop to make sure they know their rights when interacting with law enforcement.
I was convicted in 1998 of a crime that I did not commit because of my sexual preference in life.
Cassandra Rivera Hurtado is one of the San Antonio Four. She was wrongfully convicted of sexual assault and later exonerated. Hurtado says her identity in the LGBTQ plus community prompted the wrongful conviction. Her record has since been expunged, but Hurtado says if she knew her rights like she does now, there could have been a better outcome.
A lot of people ask me, do I still feel like it could happen today? Absolutely, it can still happen today.
The proof of discrimination is in the numbers. The American Civil Liberties Union released a 2024 survey of LGBTQ plus people's experiences with law enforcement. Part of that survey says LGBTQ plus people contend with more adverse treatment by police than non-LGBTQ plus people. This is particularly pronounced among bisexual, transgender, and non-binary people who are more susceptible to experiencing insulting language and physical force from the police. Hade Pacheco is with Act for SA, a grassroots criminal justice group. She's seen it too.
Too often I have seen that our community ends up having to take the lion's share of responsibility when it comes to de-escalation when having interactions with the police.
That's why Act for SA created a workshop to teach the LGBTQ plus community what to say and not say in interactions with police, and even how to file complaints and request body cam video.
Police officer asked this particular person.
And get this, these are wallet-sized cards for workshop attendees to take home and keep on them. This is for an encounter that they might have with police officers that need a little bit of a refresher. On the backside of them is for somebody who might be invoking their Fifth Amendment right and choosing not to speak with police. They can actually just take the card and hand it over to an officer.
We need to be aware as citizens of our community. What does this law mean? What does that law say? You know, it's important for us to know those things because we got to know what our options are.
And local law enforcement is listening. Both the San Antonio Police and the Bexar County Sheriff's Office have a dedicated staff member that serves as a liaison between the LGBTQ plus community, and they include the community in their training. It's a start, but Pacheco hopes more people will take the workshops.
You never know when you have a queer person in your family. You never know when you might be the one fighting to help secure their rights or ensure that they're being upheld.
Just take care of each other. Love is love.
Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
Now, Act for SA shares their free workshops online as they're made available. You can find more information on those on our website, ksat.com. Well, a San Antonio mom is facing several charges after her children had to be rescued from a hot car Saturday afternoon. This all happened in the parking lot of a store on the far north side. Police say this woman, Angela Garza, left her 2-month-old 2-year-old and 4-year-old locked inside a car that had been turned off for 50 minutes. When asked why, Garza told police she had lost track of time in the store. Those kids were rushed to the hospital, thankfully released the same day. They're expected to be fine. Meanwhile, Child Protective Services says they're aware of what happened. Now to Shirts, where police found a car riddled with bullet holes and 2 of the 4 people inside were shot. They're calling it a targeted attack. Those shots were fired before 3 this morning near Columbia Drive and Covers Cove. That's right off I-35. Shirts PD has not specified the severity of their injuries or their ages or what prompted the gunshots. We have a lot of questions still. As soon as we learn more, we will let you know on air and online at KSAT.com. Well, the punishment phase is up for Celerino Saldana after he was found guilty of attempted capital murder of a police officer last week. Saldana fired a gun at an officer back in 2022. Police fired back, leaving him paralyzed. He could spend the rest of his life behind bars. His sentencing trial starts tomorrow. You know, we've got you covered for court cases, so make sure you stay with us on air, online, and anywhere you stream. Well, the latest round of road closures on the northwest side are finally wrapping up soon. Those closures near I-10 and Loop 1604 will end tomorrow morning at 5. The weekly construction is part of the Loop 1604 expansion project. Taking a look outside with live cam. Ooh, nice and shiny today. You can't even see, Adam, in this shot that it's hot outside still, 89 degrees.
Few hours away from July, and the heat has settled in, of course, but good news today was not a 100-degree day. Hey, starting out with good news.
Are we supposed to feel like we're winning?
I'd bring my confetti out, but it's just not worth it at this time. Not worth the cleanup effort. But our tally stays at 9 100-degree days, but we'll be adding to that in the days ahead. I want to point this out. Take a look at our tropical satellite and that red cluster you see moving into eastern Mexico, just on the edge of the Gulf of Mexico there. That is now Tropical Storm Chris. The Hurricane Center decided to give it a name. It's a low-end tropical storm right now making landfall just within a few hours. Now, it did throw some showers our way, parts of deep South Texas and around the Rio Grande Valley. We even had a couple rogue pop-up showers in our neck of the woods earlier today. And you look at the map and these blue areas, they indicate where we had some of these light showers. And most of it was pretty minimal in terms of accumulation, but, you know, better than nothing. Good to see a few pop-up showers, about 1/10 of an inch here, 1/15 of an inch there. But overall, very isolated. If you saw any of those today, consider yourself one of the lucky few. Hurricane Beryl. We're watching that. I've got the 10 p.m. update from the Hurricane Center, its latest path, the spaghetti plots, and if that could make it to Texas in just a bit.
All right. Much. A couple's $25,000 investment into a San Antonio burger chain is not turning out to be the good deal that Good Burger may have promised. Christine and Jason Douglas provided the funds to Robert Walker nearly 2 years ago in exchange for a 5% ownership stake in Good News Burgers. Nearly all of his locations have shut down, and Walker's been sued at least 4 times for unpaid rent and supply bills. The Douglas family has been forced to get the police involved in hopes of recouping their money.
It's heartbreaking because I still don't own my home, and what I gave him could have paid off my home.
Coming up in about 20 minutes, what court records reveal about the financial collapse of Good News Burgers and the great lengths one business owner went to in order to serve Walker with a lawsuit. Well, last week, some federal judge rulings blocked key components of the Biden administration's SAVE student loan repayment plan. Now the administration is putting about 3 million borrowers enrolled in that plan on a payment pause. It's sort of like the pandemic-era student loan payment pause. Affected borrowers don't have to make payments, and interest isn't growing. The pause won't last forever, though. The Education Department says it could take around a month to recalculate payments in the SAVE plan to comply with the recent rulings. All affected will soon be notified. Well, the Justice Department reportedly has worked out a deal with Boeing over the 2 deadly 737 MAX plane crashes. If Boeing accepts the criminal charges in the plea deal related to those crashes, they would get a corporate monitor and fine. The Associated Press reports attorneys for the families of those who died in those crashes in 2018 and 2019 are not pleased with the offer. Boeing will have until the end of the week to decide on the plea deal. When the oppressive heat has you dehydrated, when do you turn to water and when do you reach for electrolytes? We're helping you hydrate the right way next on the Nightbeat. As Adam likes to highlight, it is a critical part of overall health, hydration. It helps our bodies function normally, and in the summer heat, it can be hard to know how best to replenish what you lose in sweat. Mandy Gaither explains when to pick water and when to consider an electrolyte drink to keep you hydrated.
It's long been said to drink 8 glasses of water a day, but when it comes to hydration, one size doesn't fit all.
I always explain to patients that if you have a cup of coffee and a cup of water, those cancel each other out.
Dr. Matthew Anastasi with Mayo Clinic says an average person may need about 4 to 6 glasses of plain water a day for an average lifestyle. However, active people may need more, and as they sweat, may also need to turn to drinks that have electrolytes.
The more electrolytes you have in your body, the more water you can help to hold on to, and therefore it keeps you well hydrated.
Anastasi says the problem is that many electrolyte drinks also have things you don't want excessively in your body. That's why he says to check drink labels.
You may be taking in way too many calories, right? Way too much sugar, and you also may be well above your recommended dietary consumption of those substances that I mentioned. So I think, as with anything, it's a balancing act.
Anastasi says choosing whether to drink plain water or grab an electrolyte drink should depend on your level of activity. For regular, low-impact, less intense exercise, he says plain water is sufficient.
But if you're going on anything more than 30 minutes in duration, or anything that's going to be very intense, I do think you would benefit from hydrational support.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And doctors say it's also important to not only hydrate after an activity, but before and during as well. Bottom line, just try to make hydration a priority all summer long. Heads up, homeowners, SAWS Stage 3 water rules are coming, and it's going to affect you if you're what SAWS considers a heavy water user. Starting July 7th, if a residential customer uses over 20,000 gallons in a billing cycle, they'll be charged an extra $10 for every extra 1,000 gallons of water. Heavy commercial users will also be hit with surcharges. Handheld lawn watering is still permitted all day, but irrigation systems must now water between 5 and 10 a.m. or 9 to midnight. We know that's a lot of information that you need to get ready for, so just scan the QR code right there at the bottom of your screen for a complete Stage 3 rule breakdown. And you have just a few more days to plan out where you'll be celebrating and watching fireworks for the 4th. Scan the QR code right there if you need a little help. We've got a list of fireworks show watching locations on our website right now. And if you're driving to your 4th of July destination, like a lot of us are, you'll need to know what to expect at the pump when you go to fill up. Here's a breakdown of what gas prices look like today. The average cost of a gallon in Bexar County right now, $3.14, just a few cents more than the statewide average of $3.11. On a national scale, though, the price is much higher at $3.49 a gallon. Yeah, get that AC in. AC in the car, AC in the plane. I know you.
I'll be taking flight for the holiday. Yes, exactly.
Get in there as much as you can.
Yes, and we're going to have more of the same heat and humidity, right? That's a given right now. So we're going to go on with our rain chances and even a little glimmer of hope for rain in the extended forecast. We're talking by next weekend. We had a few of those isolated pop-up showers today. We're starting off with a 20, you could even argue 30% chance next Saturday and Sunday. And a lot of that hinges on what is Hurricane Beryl headed westward into the Caribbean. Look closely at the center part of your screen. You see the very well-defined hurricane, well-defined eye here. It's actually not all that big in terms of the amount of ocean it covers, but it's a very strong hurricane. It's a Category 4. This means business. Max sustained winds of 130 miles per hour. It's moving into the Windward Islands, then it's in the Caribbean, and likely to encounter some wind shear aloft, which would likely weaken it. But it's my experience over the past several years with the heat content of the ocean and how unusually warm the ocean is, these systems tend to re-strengthen pretty quickly, even if they lose a little strength. But Hurricane Center has it dropping down to a Category 2 because of that wind shear as it approaches the Yucatan Peninsula, Cancun, Cozumel area. They're saying it's a Category 2 hurricane. And then after interacting with the Yucatan, heading into the southern Gulf of Mexico. That would be by next Friday in the southern Gulf. The exact location thereafter of what could be a tropical storm, maybe redeveloping into a hurricane, or just rainy remnants of Beryl. Anything's possible at this time. It could head toward the Texas coast. It could stay to the south and move into eastern Mexico. It's still too early to tell exactly where it's going to go and what its impacts could be to the Texas coast, if any at all. Now, you're going to see these computer models and the spaghetti plots quite a bit, going forward as we track this system. And yes, there's quite a consensus of this sliding right into the Yucatan Peninsula and then thereafter making a turn toward the Rio Grande Valley, deep South Texas, parts of northeastern Mexico there. But what I want to stress is this far out, we don't look at the exact solution here. We look at a trend. Quite often, almost all the time this far out, you'll see the consensus trend one way or another in terms of its path. So keep that in mind going forward and check back for updates. We'll keep you posted. So I'll get out of the way. Here are the main points. Beryl moving into the Caribbean, then likely in the Gulf after July 4th. Still unknown if it'll affect the U.S. coast. All right, let's talk temperatures. 98 today, not 100. Yesterday was our 9th 100-degree day. The average 93, record 105, set back in 1907. That is a long-standing record. And if you noticed a little extra haze in the sky today, the African dust is a little bit thicker out there. So you may notice that. And the sunrises and sunsets are a little more vibrant. Pleasanton 99 this afternoon. Same with Carrizo Springs. Del Rio topped out at 101. That was only triple digits officially across our area of South Central Texas. Tomorrow morning, we start the day at 79, 92 at noon, 99 the high temperature. So yeah, we could obviously have a 100-degree day tomorrow. Either way, it's going to feel like it's over 100 when you factor in the mugginess, feeling like 105 to 109. Southeasterly breeze tomorrow, the usual 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 20 at times. Bandera, 101 tomorrow. On the south side around Stinson Airport, 98. Converse, Shirts, 99. Poteet and Divine, 97. Sabinal, 100 degrees. Bottom line, right near 100, give or take, going forward up until we get into next weekend. And that's because that 20% chance we could even just get additional clouds in the sky, thicker clouds, more numerous clouds, more cloud cover because of the remnants of Beryl, or even if it redevelops and strengthens. Again, that's something we'll be watching right now. We've got that 20% chance of rain. Ideally, we would just have the remnants of that system, have it be weak, but full of rain and move into town. That's what we need to happen. And there's a shot at that. So let's cross our fingers. We'll keep you updated.
We can make wishes, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
Weather wishes. Okay, thank you so much, Adam. A preview of what's on Instant Replay right after the break. The San Antonio Spurs are bringing in one of the best point guards to ever play the game. For a preview of what's on Instant Replay, here's Larry Ramirez, our sports expert. So was this surprising to you?
It was surprising to me, but I'll tell you what, CP3 is coming in to mentor Wemby and, of course, the young guards on that young Spurs team. So per reports, the Spurs and 19-year veteran Chris Paul have agreed to a one-year deal worth $11 million coming up tonight on a brand new edition of Instant Replay.
I mean, he's a real big target. I mean, it was fun throwing live to DC, so I can only imagine what it'll be like now.
Spurs first-round draft pick Stephon Castle is excited to play with Victor Wembanyama, and the young guard will also get to learn from CP3. Castle played with the 7-footer at UConn and Donovan Clingan, and now he's getting ready to throw passes to the 7'4" alien Victor Wembanyama.
I'm definitely a diehard Cowboys fan, though.
That was Dallas native and Spurs second-round selection Harrison Ingram's answer when asked if he's a Dallas Mavericks fan. Rooting for the Cowboys is no easy task, but liking the 21-year-old from North Carolina is an easy thing to do. Tonight, we're going one-on-one with both Ingram and Castle.
The rest of everything.
Nice uppercut, and the left hand! Thor's got it, Estrada!
What a shot, straight down the pipe!
210 Bam is a rising star in boxing, and with every win, he shines even more. Last night, San Antonio's very own Jesse Bam Rodriguez knocked out Juan Francisco Estrada to win the WBC Junior Bantamweight title. We'll recap how it all went down at the Footprint Center in Phoenix. And how do you feel about the decisions the Spurs made in the NBA draft? That's our poll question tonight. You can vote now at ksat.com/sports/poll. That and more after the Night Beat.
People have very strong opinions.
They do.
Yeah, we got to hear them all, though. That's good. We'll hear them all out. Thanks, Larry. Well, a group of local history buffs wants to see a small and forgotten cemetery restored for the sake of the families whose descendants may be buried there. Legendary KSAT reporter Jesse DeGollado's final History Untold story will uncover the legacy left behind at the cemetery. So stick around. And a San Antonio couple says they're out $25,000 after an investment in a local burger chain spoils. A San Antonio couple says it's been nothing but bad news since they invested $25,000 in a local restaurant. Nearly 2 years after pouring their savings into Good News Burgers, they say they have yet to receive any money back. As KSAT Investigates found, it's just one of many apparent financial issues facing the now former owner.
Has a very nice environment, nice person. We knew him for over 12 years.
When Robert Walker approached them in 2022 with an opportunity to invest in his restaurant company, Christine and Jason Douglas saw it as a chance to help the owner of one of their neighborhood hangouts while supplementing their earnings as traveling nurses.
He asked us for assistance in helping change the name of his business from Papa's Burgers to Good News Burgers. And in return, he would sell us 5%.
This promissory note, signed by Walker that September, called for the family to invest $25,000 in all. A portion was contributed by the couple's son-in-law, who had recently finished a deployment in Iraq. Walker, according to records, received the funds through money orders. But nearly 21 months later, the Douglas family has yet to recoup any of their investment, and Walker has stopped returning their messages.
It's infuriating. I mean, it's bad because I mean, he shook my hand, and that meant a lot. I mean, before, but now it doesn't really mean nothing right now.
While Walker told the Douglases he was expanding his business at multiple locations, public records show he was already nearly 2 years behind in rent payments at one of those spots by the time they bought in. KSAT Investigates found starting in February of last year, Walker and his company were sued 4 times in just over 10 months. 3 of the suits brought by property owners that had leased him space and claimed they were owed rent. The 4th by a company that had provided him restaurant supplies. As of this month, according to Bexar County court records, Walker owes default judgments in 2 of the cases totaling more than $90,000. The other 2 suits are pending.
This actually is a whole new idea.
Walker, seen during an appearance on Texas Eats in 2021, has been difficult to track down. He did not respond to a message from KSAT left at his last known address. Earlier this year, attorneys for one of the property owners sought and were granted permission from the court to serve Walker through his LinkedIn profile, after Walker evaded multiple previous attempts to serve him in person. After KSAT stopped by Good News Burgers' last remaining location on Southwest 36th Street, a woman working behind the counter identified herself as the new owner.
I'll forward this, but he doesn't own the business.
So he's out of the restaurant business?
Terry Flores said she worked as a restaurant manager under Walker, but was unaware of his legal entanglements. Flores provided KSAT records showing she took over the business from him late last year. For the Douglases, the ordeal has been a tough lesson on being careful who you trust.
To ghost us and not even make an attempt, that's disheartening. We went in with no representation, and we don't have knowledge of business and how it works. And that was a big mistake on our part.
For KSAT Investigates, I'm Dylan Collier.
Christine and Jason Douglas sent Walker a demand letter through an attorney last fall, and they haven't heard back. They then filed a theft report against Walker with San Antonio police last month. A department spokesperson says that case is now under investigation. A centuries-old cemetery forgotten over the years is getting the attention of several history lovers in San Antonio. Why they want it restored. It's Jesse DeGollado's final edition of History Untold. In a city as old as San Antonio, there are quite a few historic cemeteries, like on the city's east side. But in her final episode of History Untold, our Jesse DeGollado has the story of one of the many small, forgotten cemeteries yet to be found.
The Forgotten Cemetery story actually began right here at the KSAT front desk 3 years ago when someone dropped off a handwritten letter and a map, but no name or phone number. Embarrassed to say, I finally found the letter a couple of weeks ago in my bottomless pit, otherwise known as my purse.
The letter led us to this stretch of New Laredo Highway lined with junkyards, where we finally found this locked gate at the end of a small road. Fortunately, the property owner allowed us in, and not just me.
Hopefully you get the information we need. All right, thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. Thanks a
Okay,
lot.
thank you.
Randy Vale is grateful these lovers of history are curious about what's on the property he'd bought 30 years ago.
Find out who they are and why they're here, because I don't know.
In the group, also eager to find out, was the chair of the Bexar County Historical Commission.
To see something like this, it just opens my mind up for more.
Hidden in a tree grove is a small, forgotten cemetery filled with broken and toppled headstones. But most grave sites had none. From what Bexar County archivist David Carlson could tell, from markers, mostly in Spanish, that were still somewhat legible.
Another vernacular grave marker with a crucifix inscribed on it. Over half a century of burials here. And it's surrounded by farmland.
The discovery was an emotional one for Mary Bettoni. The 12-year-old buried here in 1918, Louis Bettoni, and his baby brother Roberto, only 8 months old when he died, were uncles she never knew.
I just can't believe it. I never thought this was going to happen. I never thought we were going to see this.
Her grandparents, Roberto and Angelita Bettoni, had a large family, she says, but times were hard back then.
She had quite a few that were young that died.
Close by is the headstone of a newborn infant belonging to another family.
A little girl who died a week old, Maria Virginia Lugo Ugartechea.
The child of Juan Lugo and Dolores Ugartechea, the parents of 6 surviving children. Their youngest and only son, Alfonso Lugo, says he and his sisters grew up in a hardworking but poor family, which is why Lugo believes Virginia was laid to rest in what may have been a potter's field or pauper's cemetery. Sadly, he says his mother never knew where her baby was buried by her own father. Neither did Virginia's brother when he placed her stone here years later. In his text, Lugo says, "My main concern was to honor my sister and appease my poor mother's soul." This partially dug grave perhaps shows how impoverished families back then would often bury their own. Lugo remembers this as Leoncito Cemetery, since Leon Creek is nearby. Yet Bexar County records show it as St. Teresa Cemetery. But the San Antonio Archdiocese told us there was no record of it.
We don't know why. We don't know who actually owns the cemetery.
Look at the cross there, my gosh.
Until then, there's much to do.
There's going to have to be an attempt made to document where the burials are.
Perhaps with ground-penetrating radar. Or, for now, Sarah Reevely's time-tested dowsing rod that she says located 6 graves here.
To move the headstones, is it a desecration? We can't do that. We can't do that.
But there's plenty of brush to be cleared.
They don't have to haul it away. They can just put it outside at the cemetery.
The owner says he'll add it to the piles that are out there now. And to keep his cattle from trampling over the graves, a fence is needed, in hopes the cemetery's dignity can someday be restored.
It's about family members reconnecting with their ancestors.
On the southwest side, Jesse DeGollado, KSAT 12 News.
Such a special piece. Jessie says she thinks she brought a sense of peace to the descendants in this story, one of them even offering to pay for the badly needed fence at that cemetery where his baby sister was buried by her father. A beautiful last story from Jesse DeGollado. This is the type of journalism, Adam, that being in our building, you can't not seep it in?
Oh, it takes a person like Jessie and her connections and her experience and just the way she bonds with the community to have stories like that and to bring them together with all those multiple people, because she really is San Antonio. Right. And you're already missed, Jessie. You're already missed. It's
I
true.
won't get emotional because we've done this so many times before this week, but this is what we truly appreciate, and you can trust us to pull that from Jessie. She's taught us so much, and we can only hope to continue this journalistic integrity. So thank you, Jessie, for that. We'll miss her so much.
She set the bar high for reporters, that's
really
for sure.
Did. She really did. All right, we got to talk about the weather.
And a hurricane in the Atlantic.
Exactly. There's a lot going on to keep you busy tonight.
Yep, there is actually. And I'm going to talk about many things here. Our drought monitor, how badly we need rain, where we need rain the most, and the latest trend of the donut hole over San Antonio closing in a little bit for the rainfall potential. Number of 100-degree days this year, 9. 9 100-degree days. Now, by this time last year, we had 12, so not too many more by this time last year. But as a total last year, of course, 75, the all-time record ever. If there was a heat record to be broken, it was broken last year. Now, the average for a season is 18, so we're already half that, and I do think we'll add to this tally and keep getting a few more 100s in the days ahead. We'll be back to talk about the hurricane, the drought monitor, and those rain chances in a bit.
All right, so we get into a pattern in the summer where we've had some rain and then we go for a while without it. So we really need to be checking in on the drought monitor as much as possible.
And the drought monitor, it's updated every Thursday. And so the most recent one, there really weren't any improvements despite some rainfall taken into account from that tropical moisture we picked up a little over a week ago. So take a look at the numerous colors on the map here. Bright yellow indicating abnormally dry, and from there on it's different actual drought categories. And it's especially bad still in parts of the hill country and west along Highway 90 all the way to Del Rio, Bracketville, Comstock, that area. This is where we have the worst drought, but a good situation actually off to the east and south. I mean, not everybody's in drought. It's just a small part of Texas overall. About 25% of the state is considered in drought, and that's West Texas and our neck of the woods, of course. The aquifer is almost 32 feet below average for this time of year. So that's obviously something we want to fix, but it takes a lot of rain to do that, and this time of year would take a tropical system to bring us enough moisture to help alleviate that drought and boost the aquifer a bit. So the percent of normal rainfall since this time last year. So over the past 365 days, we've had 70% of our average rainfall. 100% would be average. Look, they're above 100%. North Texas, East Texas, and even Laredo, little above average for precipitation over the past 365 days. This was that donut hole I was talking about. When I show this map, quite often we'll see this blank spot for rainfall potential over Texas and especially our neck of the woods. But weak cold front is going to drop into North Texas by next weekend, and the potential of some moisture from Beryl is actually going to give us a glimmer of hope for a little bit of rain. It's still too early to tell exactly where Beryl or its remnants will go once in the Gulf of Mexico, but it could bring us some much needed rainfall. We'll see. And hopefully just in the sense of rain, and obviously we don't want any other issues with it, but right now this is a major hurricane, Category 4 hurricane that's moving into the Windward Islands soon. Cat 4 right now, likely to weaken a bit as it heads westward and then interact with the Yucatan Peninsula by next Friday, or Thursday and Friday. So the 4th and 5th, basically. Thereafter, anything is possible. We are seeing a little cluster of the computer models pushing whatever will be of Beryl. It may re-strengthen in the Gulf, it may not. But either way, there is a little cluster of the spaghetti plot showing it move maybe toward the Rio Grande Valley. But keep in mind, this far out, we look at trends in these plots. Trends, they often and almost always start trending that consensus will trend one way or the other. That's often the case, so it's important to check back in for updates. Otherwise, there's another system possible right on the heels of Beryl. There's likely development out in the Atlantic as we get the hurricane season really cranking up right now. Partly cloudy in the morning at 79, then a sunny day, 99 the high temperature, but it's going to feel like 104 to 109. Of course, southeasterly wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting a little bit higher at times. Tomorrow, Del Rio 102, Eagle Pass 99, Carrizo Springs 100, Cotulla 101. The rest of us mostly upper 90s, just flirting with that 100-degree mark. It wouldn't shock me if we do hit 100, of course, in San Antonio. What's a degree amongst friends? You don't really feel the difference much. 100 we're expecting on Tuesday. A lot of sunshine this week. Little hazy, though, because of the African dust that is overhead.
All right. I see 20%. I see possibilities. I'm staying positive. All right. Thanks, Adam. Animation and horror went head-to-head at the weekend box office, and a battle it was. David Daniel has early estimates on the top 5 films in theaters next on the Nightbeat.
Indian science fiction epic Kalki 2898 AD debuted in 5th place with $5.5 million. Bad Boys Ride or Die fell to 4th, but $10.3 million gave it a domestic total of $165 million. Horizon, an American Saga Chapter 1 started out in 3rd place with $11 million. A huge debut for A Quiet Place Day One. The prequel scored a franchise-best $53 million opening weekend.
Behold, my super high-tech Riley protection system.
Inside Out 2 kept the crown for a 3rd straight weekend, earning $57.4 million and crossing the billion-dollar mark globally in just 19 days, a record for an animated film. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Can't wait to see that one. Also can't wait for this. The Texas Longhorns are celebrating a big move while the A&M baseball team has a new head coach. Plus, San Antonio FC have had a tough season. For more on all of that on What's an Instant Replay, let's head to Larry Ramirez.
Unfortunately, SAFC, they've dropped 5 straight. I mean, they're dealing with injuries, national call-ups, you name it. Now, SAFC is exactly halfway through their USL Championship season schedule, coming up tonight on Instant Replay.
Again, we controlled the game. This was a game that we controlled the game versus the top team in the Western Conference. But those individual errors are unacceptable. I don't know how else to put it. Unacceptable, and then we got to do a better job finishing the number of opportunities and the positions that we get in. We got to be more ruthless in front of the goal. I mean, there's nothing else, really. I can tell you a lot of things here. Those errors are unacceptable.
Head coach Alan Marcina says if his team can fix some errors, they can beat a team like New Mexico United, the top team in the West, and he's confident in that. Instead, New Mexico edged San Antonio FC 3-2. Yesterday, Spurs staffers, family, and friends were all introduced to the 2 of the newest members of the Spurs, Stefan Castle and Harrison Ingram. Both guys are thrilled to be in San Antonio, and you will meet them both tonight. The University of Texas Athletics is saying goodbye and hello at the same time. Plus, Texas A&M hired a new baseball coach, and Chris Paul plans to join the Spurs. That and much more coming up on Instant Replay.
I'm excited and I'm nervous, all at the same time.
Right.
So
I got
many emotions. All right. Thanks, Larry. We'll be right back after this.